For some of our listeners, what is the role of a producer?
Well, the producer on the Grammys is in charge of essentially who's on the show. They work with the artist to decide what they sing. They choose the order of the show, how it works, what's it look like. They oversee the lighting, the sound, the set, the instrumentation. They decide which awards go on the show and where they go. And they're essentially sort of almost like the gatekeeper to make sure that the audience at home this Sunday night have a great experience and really love the show. And that's the producer's job. They are there to make sure that the television experience for everybody at home, in the way it's shot, the way it sounds, the music that we choose is all perfect for your listeners to enjoy on Sunday.
You have a string of success throughout your whole career. I mean, you have so many nominations, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What makes a good producer in this day and age?
I think somebody who knows their weaknesses. I think somebody who can surround themselves with a great team who can cover those weaknesses. I think somebody with like a real vision for what a show should be and a real passion for it. We're very lucky to do the jobs that we do when we work in something like television. So, never taking that for granted, never getting lazy, always working hard, always doing things in a kind way, setting an example from the top, and caring passionately about every single frame, every single sound, every single musical instrument, and every single person that works with you.
How do you stay in tune with the audience? Is there a magic crystal ball, meditation? What is your secret?
Oh, that's a difficult one. How do I keep in touch with the audience? Well, listen, I love music. So, I'm listening to everything from American folk to country to hip-hop to jazz. I try and keep abreast of all genres of music. I also have an amazing team. There's about 6 of us who are the producers on this show. So everybody comes to it with a different opinion and a different taste. And I think that really helps. And so we just try and keep across what's going on in music so that we can make the best current modern show, but also not forgetting that a lot of the audience, like the Joni Mitchells and the Tracy Chapmans and the Billy Joels, and that's why we were so excited to have them last year. And so it's about getting the balance right for the Grammys on Sunday, and that's what we hope we'll do.
Speaking of nostalgic duets, can you, leak a little bit of info from this new Grammys for this year?
Yeah, we're excited about it. We've got some real superstars like Sabrina Carpenter and Chappell Roan, and some legends like Billie Eilish. We've got a huge section for Quincy Jones's tribute. And there's a lot of artists that we haven't announced yet that we're going to do so later on at the weekend probably. But I can just promise that, there'll be something for everyone in there. And even the music that you don't think you'll enjoy, it's curated in a way that we think you will. So I'm excited for people to see what we've been working on because it's going to be one of the best shows we've ever done.
I mean, for the audience out there, Ben has produced for Bruno Mars, Harry Styles, Elton John, Adele, Justin Bieber, Musgrave, Platt, you name it. How do you maintain sensibility with when you're working with us, maybe sometimes prima donnas?
Well, they are they're never as bad as what you think they're going to be. The list of names you've just mentioned are all wonderful people who I've been very, very lucky to work with. It's a pinch myself moment for me. I get to work with some of my heroes, and that's a really wonderful thing. But they are all creative producer. You've just got to make sure that you give them the platform to be brilliant. Take care of the things that they don't need to worry about, and make sure that they've got the tools to execute the vision that we both have. So, yeah, I feel very lucky to work with all those artists that you mentioned, and never take it for granted.
Now, one of the most intriguing things about awards night is always the playoff song. And I've noticed that people have been playing around with that the past couple of shows. Some people stopped doing it. Some people are still sticking to it. How do you feel about the playoff song?
I reluctantly use it when we have to. I don't want to ever be disrespectful. I'm very aware that it's a big moment in somebody's career when they're stood on stage with a Grammy. It's a moment that they're always going to remember, and I don't want to ruin it by hurrying them off. But then again, we've got a live show to do, and, it can only be 3.5 hours, so we can't overrun. So you've got to be respectful with it. So I do play people off occasionally, but very rarely. And I try and do it with very gentle sort of violin, cello music, so it doesn't sort of go against what they're saying, more adds to what they're saying, and just gives them a little hint that maybe it's time to wrap up. And I think that's okay to do that. I do it in moderation, and as respectfully as I can, and only after someone's spoken for, a lot longer than they were supposed to.
When have you ever fanboyed or just been in awe with someone that you're working with? And how important is it, though, on the other aspect, to keep cool?
Yeah, very important to keep cool. Listen, you can't not fanboy a little bit, right? You're with the biggest stars in the world and you're working with them. So, I feel very lucky to be able to do that. Probably two of my favorites, Brandy Carlisle and Bruno Mars, two Bs. They are two of my favorite artists. They're often on the Grammys. Whenever they're on the Grammys, I count myself so lucky to work with them and know them. But you always keep your cool and just do your job as best you can. And it's you won't really see me starstruck often. More just full of respect for the people that I'm lucky enough to work with.
If you were to talk to young Ben, getting his his feet wet in this business, what would be that little piece of advice that you would give him?
Well, I think as a kid I was probably very driven. I knew exactly what I wanted to do. So I probably didn't have enough fun as a kid because I was so determined to sort of work in television and be a producer. So I'd probably tell him to relax a little bit, have a bit more fun, stay out a little bit later, drink a little bit more. But then again, if I had done that, I might not be talking to you today as the Grammys executive producer. So I don't know. I think that maybe it's better that I don't say anything, and then nothing can interrupt sort of the journey that I've been on, which I'm really excited by and proud of. But I probably would have told him to have a bit more fun, not worry so much. It will come. Work hard. Keep your head down. Be kind to people, and one day you might get where you want to go, I suppose.
What can people expect from this year's Grammys that might be a little bit different, or can we expect just another great show? Because last year was wonderful, I will say that.
Thank you. Yeah, I think this Sunday is going to be a very special night. I think you're going to see incredible artists, amazing music performances, both on your feet dance moments and real emotion too. Genres from country to hip hop to pop to jazz to rock. All, we're trying to serve as many masters as we can, but also be an emotional night. The wildfires in LA have been difficult for us all to cope with out here. So we're going to be paying tribute to the local business communities, the firefighters who literally saved so many of our lives, and doing a little bit of good for Los Angeles along the way as well, trying to bring much needed relief to LA when it needs it the most. So I think it's going to be one of the probably most important Grammys I've done, and I hopefully feel it will be the best one too.
Thank you very much for your time, Ben, and break a leg.
Thank you, sir. Nice to speak to you.